Alrighty. What's up, everybody? It is Friday, March 4th. Welcome to the stream. I have a lot of different exciting things to share with you today, but most importantly, why I think institutions are going to be incoming and send this market into a crypto boom. So before we begin, welcome to Cryptolution, where we talk about everything under the moon in the crypto universe. Now, I am so excited to share these things with you today, but before we begin, I just want to double check and make sure that the audio is good and that what you're seeing on screen is good. If you could just leave a comment in the chat, that'd be great. Just give me a thumbs up and let me know if everything's working well. Welcome. Boom shakalaka. What's up, Jay Fari? Oh, sorry, Jay Ferrari. Very nice. Okay, so let us go ahead and begin with everything. Let's see here. So as you can see right now, the crypto market is in a slight dip. Now, basically it's around $1.8 trillion in terms of its total market cap. And, does this make me fearful? Not at all. This is completely normal within the crypto market, and there's a lot of news developing, and sometimes it's good not to check out what's happening in the crypto market in its entirety. So when you look at these prices, you think, should I be selling? Should I be buying? Honestly, these are great selections. These are great buying opportunities in DCAing. So I feel quite confident that at least for the blue chip top tier cryptos such as Bitcoin, Ethereum, Solana, Cardano, Avalanche, Polkadot, even Polygon are great buys. But don't let me speak upon that. We're going to dive deeper into what that means later on down the road. So further in the video, we'll be discussing those things. So what else is going on in the news? So I just want to share with you that the NFT market is facing a cool down period. Now this involves Ethereum and Solana NFTs. Now I wouldn't be too worried about this because honestly, in at least January and February, we just saw this hyperparabolic NFT market go from, very little transactions to just millions of dollars just within that span of 2 months, which is huge. But right now it's taking a slight dip. Now, are NFTs out of the game? I don't think so. I feel that Solana and Ethereum are the top NFT marketplaces. And to be very honest with you, I love Solana's NFTs because they had cheap fees. It's also really easy to use the interface on all the websites and also to use your Phantom wallet. So I believe that Solana may even catch up to Ethereum. But again, it may have a long road ahead because Ethereum's network is quite huge. So that's really cool. But in other news, there has been some NFTs that have been releasing. So Ukraine came out with a DAO flag NFT that sold for 6.75 million. And this just goes to show you that NFTs are not going away. They are still in the game and they're still on track to stick around forever. Just because the blockchain, as long as that's around, NFTs will always be around. And it's a great way to have authenticity over your items through the blockchain. And this one sold for 2,258 ETH. And obviously people are trying to support this war in terms of giving support to Ukraine. They need the support in any way, shape, or form. So why not use the blockchain for that? But there are other people who are trying to stop that, right? Now, recently, the SEC reportedly targets the NFT market over potential violations of security laws. Now, this is something that was inevitable. We weren't sure if the SEC was going to target NFT markets or creators, but apparently they are doing that. And what the funny thing is that SEC was having a lawsuit with Ripple, which is XRP. And the thing is, that case has been dragging on for so long that I think SEC doesn't know what to do. And I think they're trying to target other people as well. The SEC is not only just targeting Ripple, it's targeting exchanges, it's targeting any companies that provide yield farming or interest rates that are far beyond what the US dollar can offer. And as we know, the SEC, they work for the banks. So they're trying to see what they can get out of all these companies. And usually these companies do pay a large sum of money. And what I mean by that is that they pay a penalty fee in the millions of dollars. But again, in the crypto market, that's like nothing. That's just change. So right now the SEC is trying to target the NFT space. And the thing is, there are so many NFTs out there compared to, I feel like, cryptocurrencies, but maybe they're around the same. But I think that's just another thing that they have to dig up. And honestly, in my own personal opinion, the SEC is so behind, along with a lot of different departments, the FOTC, that it's just going to take forever for them to really catch up because the technology is growing so fast that they haven't even created a regulatory framework for around that. So this isn't something that I'm worried about, and I still believe that people are going to still create NFTs. And I think the SEC just needs to figure it out on their own. So that's just my own opinion. Now, what else is going on in there? So right now, I want to share with you that still, even with China banning Bitcoin back in 2020, 10% of all the Bitcoin transactions are still happening within China. And China has specified that they will arrest and put people in jail if they continue to trade Bitcoin or any other cryptocurrency for that matter. But still, there are people in the country still buying into Bitcoin just because there is no borders, it's borderless, it's peer-to-peer transactions. So no matter what, people are still going to do it. And it's hard to trace in terms of finding out who's actually buying. Unless they deposit it back in their bank, then it is easy for China to know who is actually still using Bitcoin in transactions. But again, I'm not too worried about that. I think that Bitcoin and cryptocurrency is meant to help people who are under a dictatorship and allow people to have access to their own funds and not have it controlled by a centralized government or a centralized banking system. So obviously that's really helpful, and I think that that's really positive. What else is going on in the world? Well, obviously Ukraine, as we talked about, the NFT that raised a ton of money, also raised around 54 million at the time of this recording. Maybe it has been raised to be more of Bitcoin. And that's not just Bitcoin, but other donations as well, such as Solana. We also have Ethereum. So those are the top ones that I know as of right now, but also there are people accepting Dogecoin from what I've heard, but that's just speculation. So this is amazing, but this is also why I think we are expecting that there is a slight dip today, because honestly, the market is dipping today, but I think it's mainly because there are different people who have blocked transactions to Russia. So Russia's access to Bitcoin is still being slowly limited, but again, just like China, people will find a way to have access to put their funds into Bitcoin and cryptocurrency. So I don't find that limiting, and I think that it's just inevitable that people are going to end up having their funds in there. And I still think Bitcoin in the short to medium term and for the long term is going to be majorly bullish. So what else is going on? So the European Parliament does postpone the crypto bill over proof of work. So originally they were going to ban Bitcoin and cryptocurrency, and this was within the EU. But recently, over the recent developments between the Ukraine and Russia war, the EU has decided to lift the ban on crypto and lift the ban on Bitcoin and proof of work. Now, this is huge because honestly, the thing is they can try to stop it, but again, Bitcoin is permissionless. It doesn't need anybody to transact. It doesn't need anybody to move forward. It just works on its own. So you have to imagine that if EU is doing this, then there are other things happening in the world as well. Now, upon the reaction of the Russian versus Ukraine war, there have been many different requests from crypto exchanges. So crypto exchanges have been asked to withdraw or stop any transactions in Russia. And as many of these CEOs and presidents of these companies, they have almost refused to do that. Now, you can think of this in a good or a bad way. Now, the bad way is oligarchs or Russian leaders who are or just military people can put their money into crypto assets, and that would be unfair. That means that Russia's sanctions wouldn't mean anything, that they would just find a way to funnel money through a back door, and they think that that's Bitcoin. But where these CEOs are coming from is that as much as those evil people or those oligarchs or just those evil people could put money into it, they're thinking also on behalf of the citizens, the people who aren't involved in the war, the people who are just caught in the middle. They want to protect those individuals so that they have access to their own funds, so that they aren't considered a centralized system, a centralized bank. Now, these are centralized exchanges, but in a way, they aren't legally abided to do this right now. So right now, all the exchanges are just fighting against it, and as you can see here, they're just refusing to do it. So this is kind of a mixed bag. It's a really tough position that I see these companies facing, but in the end, I think they're doing the right thing, and they should take it very slowly. So let's get on to some other news. So Brett Harrison, who is the president of FTX US, just met with the U.S. head of policy and regulatory strategy, Mark, who went on the Hill and Treasury today, and they spoke on behalf of cryptocurrency to educate everybody on the Hill. And that's really important because these people, since they're based in the US, they need to be at the forefront of cryptocurrency as much as possible. So they are well positioned for that. But not only that, they are not the only ones that are doing this. And that's the main story of today. So other than Brett, there are also other asset managements who are allocating their funds into cryptocurrency, but mainly many of these are trying to file for ETF. So again, this is inevitable as well. I do believe that an ETF is coming. Is it happening this year? It could happen, absolutely. If there is more clarity around cryptocurrency, then an ETF is just bound to happen. And right now, if the US doesn't do this, then their competitors around the world will beat them, possibly Russia or Ukraine or Kazakhstan. Again, this is just the beginning, but the US needs to step in charge of this in order to be at the forefront. But right now, they're a little bit behind. But I don't think so. I think right now they're going to catch up, and it's all thanks to this guy. Kevin O'Leary. Now, before I begin, I just want to double check and to see if everybody's good, if they can hear my audio. Now, just go ahead and leave a comment in the chat. How's everything? Can you hear me? Okay, if I haven't heard anything just yet, don't worry about it. I will continue to keep going forward. But if you cannot hear me, please just leave a comment in the chat. I just want to make sure that you guys can hear me clearly. All right, moving on. So Kevin O'Leary met up with Cynthia Lummis to help with a bipartisan meeting. Now, this involved different Republicans and Democrats in the room. And as we know, Cynthia Lummis is a senator who is very bullish on cryptocurrency. She also owns cryptocurrency. Last time I heard, she owned around 3 Bitcoin to around 5 Bitcoin, and she possibly could own more. But this is really huge because if we know Kevin O'Leary, he always says that people always pick up his phone calls. I just had a little comment here. Andrea, all good, bro. Good info. Oh, fantastic. I'm so glad you enjoy this. Okay, moving forward. Thank you so much. Moving forward, Kevin O'Leary, who we know is a part of Shark Tank, is a huge entrepreneur, has an amazing net worth, but has been very bullish on cryptocurrency. And just recently, within the past 24 hours, he has met with these groups of people, and I think it's very, very bullish, and I think it's very, very awesome that he's doing that. But again, whenever he calls somebody, they always pick up the phone. Now, even Blockworks is helping bring this awareness. Kevin O'Leary says U.S. policymakers are working on a policy to open crypto markets to institutional investors. This is the whole point of the meeting, and this is why this video is so important for you to watch, because if Kevin O'Leary is helping institutions have access to cryptocurrency and providing the regulatory framework with senators in the US, then you can expect trillions, not billions, I'm talking about trillions of dollars entering this market. Because right now there are only a very limited amount of companies that are investing in cryptocurrency and taking that risk, but they need the extra protection. There are more companies out there that need more clarity around this, and they will be invested in cryptocurrency once they have that protection aside from them. But also, Kevin O'Leary even just tweeted that he spent the day at the Senate with a bipartisan group of policymakers who get the joke on crypto. They are working on the policy that will open these markets to institutional investors. Again, very, very huge. Now, what else is there? He said just today, around 7:54 a.m. Pacific time, which was just a few hours ago, he said Bitcoin, Ethereum, Polygon, all these blockchains, it's all software. The growth rate of these new innovations is phenomenal, and there's capital coming in from all around the world. Again, his icon is laser eyes, so he is focused on this. Him saying that is very huge. And I think that it isn't just him that is very bullish. I think his partners are very bullish. Again, Kevin O'Leary has a whole bunch of companies, a whole bunch of businesses under his name in his portfolio. And so obviously he's going to allocate those funds, or at least push for his companies to have a bit of exposure to cryptocurrency. Again, what other cryptos are there? Now, we need to understand that Kevin O'Leary's net worth as of yet, this was updated around, I think, February of this year, is around $400 million. and he's obviously 66 years old. But how much of that $400 million is invested in cryptocurrency? Well, last time we checked in November 11th of 2021, he had 10% allocated. Now that is huge. He used to be very bearish around cryptocurrency. He had around a 1% exposure, but thanks to Anthony Popoliano educating him a little bit, he now owns 10%. And honestly, because this is November 11th, he probably has a lot more allocated to cryptocurrency, a larger percentage. And I do believe that's only going to continue to grow. So that is basically how I see his allocation going and where I think his money is going. Now, let's talk about what cryptocurrency he does have in his portfolio. What we do know is that he has Bitcoin. Bitcoin is one of his top assets on there. And we know that there are a ton of people like Michael Saylor who are definitely buying into these cryptocurrencies and buying the dip, even if they aren't announcing it yet. But again, Bitcoin is still above 40,000. Let's just say it. It's above 35,000. Let's just be very, very honest. This is not going anywhere. Okay, even with this huge pump because of the war that's happening in Ukraine and Russia, it's not going to stop. This crypto market is going to go up and down. But once the regulatory framework is set in place, Bitcoin is going to head into a hyperparabolic stage. And what do I mean by that? That means you're going to see prices that are going to absolutely make people feel that they need to FOMO in. That's the fear of missing out. That means that this price of 40,000 is no longer going to be the thing anymore. It's going to continue to grow, and it's going to be in prices where you can't even afford it. But what other coins are there? There is also Ethereum. Ethereum is 2,600 right now. Now, this is actually quite affordable for people who want to have a secondary store of value, because Ethereum, to me, is silver in a way. And because it's deflationary, we haven't burned as much Ethereum to make it deflationary, but it is still deflationary because of the EIP 1559. And with that said, this is a great affordable way. If you missed out on Bitcoin, you can still own some Ethereum, and it will only shrink in terms of the token supply more and more and more. So right now, I think that this has a huge roadmap ahead, but there are some other competitors out there that if this is too expensive for you, this is also another thing that Kevin Leary owns, and that is Solana. Solana is a layer 1 solution, but it's also a huge competitor to Ethereum. And as you guys have seen in my previous videos, it has fast transaction speeds and also very cheap transactions. It's like pennies to the dollar compared to Ethereum. But the ecosystem with Solana is huge. The gaming, the metaverse, also just people building on yield farming apps, and also swaps as well. Solana is big, and it's also run by an amazing team, and also backed by FTX and Alameda Research and so many other brands and companies as well. So Solana is actually positioned really well to be a blue chip. And what do I mean by that? That means a blue chip is an asset that is safe compared to other riskier assets. That means it has more establishment, it has more regulatory framework around it. And I would easily compare this to Ethereum and Bitcoin. So that is huge. I own a lot of Solana. Solana is definitely one of my biggest holdings next to Ethereum and BTC. So Solana is very huge to me. So if you haven't already, think about this, because it's under $100. Again, I had an all-time high of around, I think it was around 250 at some point. And I do believe that that's going to go back up there at any time. So it's just inevitable. Another thing that is something that Kevin Leary has invested in is Polygon. And right now it's $1.50. Now, Polygon we know is a layer 2 solution to Ethereum. But the reason I know a Polygon's going to do really well is because all these different gaming companies, all these different metaverses are also building on Polygon. And that's really important for you guys to know, because Polygon is really at the forefront to allowing people to have a little bit of cheaper transactions. They're still pretty expensive to me compared to Solana, but the network that Polygon has is that it has access to Ethereum's clientele and audience and user base. So that's really huge. So obviously Polygon is a must hold. So those are the top 4 coins that I think are very promising for the road ahead, and that have a great blue chip security system around that. So again, Bitcoin, Ethereum, Solana, and Polygon. All right, so I just want to share that with you. So I'm very bullish on that. What's next? So also I want to talk about the metaverse as well, because right now people are uncertain. Is the metaverse going to come back? Is gaming going to come back? So it has dropped around 3% today, around 17 billion. Just, I think yesterday, the day before, was around 20 billion. So obviously it's dropped a little bit more. But as I've said before, this is a great buying opportunity. Again, these dips are just temporary. and they're not going to end anytime soon. Uh, I mean, what I mean by that, I mean that these are temporary, but the whole market is going to come back eventually. Because again, the metaverse is helpful for people to communicate, to meet, and also to play games as well. But this is going to be a new social experiment, and I think the blockchain is going to do really well. So why not make money off of socializing with other people? Now, there's also the gaming market as well. I mean, we can look at Illuvium, UFO Gaming. There's so many different games out there, but I want to focus on a few things right here. Now, I want to focus on the Solana ecosystem, right? If you go to playtoearn.net, there's a whole bunch of different games on here, and this is all based in Solana. Yaki Corp right now is doing really well. Neon Heroes is doing really well. Right now, these are mainly NFT-based investments. So if you ever want to invest in something that may have a promising future, well, it's going to be these two for sure, and maybe Tiny Colony in terms of land assets. There's also Star Atlas that has an amazing metaverse and gaming sector in it. But I think what's really going to do well, that's an underdog, is Decimated. And I bring this up a lot. Decimated is an underrated token. And right now, some of their team members are based in Ukraine. So as I will actually go to the chart about this because it has dropped 14%. So it's around 15 cents right now. And at its high, it was around 53 cents. So obviously, it's taken a huge dip from there. And I do think that the team actually maybe perhaps been affected by the war. So are these great buying opportunities? Yes, these are dollar cost average opportunities. Again, none of this is financial advice. This is just my own financial opinion. But again, this is a great opportunity to DCA. Never invest more than what you're willing to lose. Again, this is only for you to speculate. But this game is a AAA game. It has amazing gameplay footage. And also, I compare it to Halo and other cyberpunk games out there. And so I think that this is a really good chance to have a dollar cost average buying opportunity. And also, the market cap is around 7 million. It could be up. It used to be in the 16, 15 millions. But, you know, the market cap is so super low. And this is just a hidden gem. And the token you can buy on different exchanges, such as, let's go down on the bottom. You can buy it on Huobi, Gate.io, but what I do is I use Radium. It's much easier. You can buy it in the US. Huobi and Gate.io are kind of difficult. So, you know, Radium, I connect my Phantom wallet and I can buy those tokens there. So that is an amazing buying opportunity. But also, as I mentioned before, there's the last one in terms of a metaverse investment, and that is TCG Coin 2.0. And as you know, I'm a huge partner with TCG. I'm a huge investor in the coin itself. I'm very bullish on it. But know this is actually at a market cap around 40 million. That means it's still very promising. And just within the past month, we've seen an inflow of funds coming in back into the coin, giving it its healthy trend. This is during the time when the Ukrainian-Russia war was going on. And we noticed that there was a slight dip in the entire market, but that did not shake up anything within TCG2 coin. So keep that in mind. And if you haven't visited this website, definitely check it out. There's a huge giveaway that we are doing, and that is gold plot giveaway. And so yeah, that's pretty much it, guys. I'm very bullish on all these different things and why I think institutions are definitely going to be funneling in their money. So you have to position yourself at these top coins. So that is Bitcoin, Ethereum, Solana, Polygon as the blue chips. And in terms of gaming, I'm huge on Decimated. And in terms of metaverse, I'm huge on TCG World. So that is it, guys. Let me know your thoughts down in the comments. I'd love to hear it. I do have a couple minutes to just answer any questions if you do have any, so feel free to leave them in the comments in the chat. Wow, it is 11:40 a.m. on the west side in Pacific time. That's really cool. Any questions, guys? If not, no worries. I can head out. I just want to give you guys a couple minutes just to let you guys answer any questions, or at least if I can answer any questions for you, I'd be happy to help. But if nobody is going to ask anything, no worries. Okay, well, that's it, guys. Thank you so much for tuning in. This is a huge video I want to share with you guys. And again, be sure to like, subscribe to the channel. Again, Andre, thank you so much. I'm happy to give you all this info. But yeah, be sure to like, subscribe, make sure to join our Patreon page if you haven't for any tips. We love to give you guys exclusive news around great NFT assets or great deals that are going on out there. So guys, thank you so much for your time. Have a safe weekend. Have a great Friday, and I will see you next week.